It is 6:30. I'll call this meeting of the St. Mary's City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Buck,
Here.
Lund, Chrisman,
Here.
Childry. Here. Fitzgerald,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Aquero,
Here.
All rise, please join me, Pastor Tim, and brief prayer.
Let's pray. Mighty God, we are certainly grateful for all the public service that make this town function. We thank you for them keeping an eye out for us and all the good work that they do. Great blessing upon all the discussion and conversation that happens here tonight, the decisions that we make, that they may be blessed by you as we continue to move through our summer into Summerfest and enjoy this time of the year. Thank you so much, God, for this opportunity, and pray that you'll bless us every step of the way. We ask this in Jesus' name.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All received a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any questions or comments from council? If not, may I have a motion to accept, please? Mr. Buck, Mr. Crispin, all those to accept, please. All yeses, thank you. Under petitions communication, we have one, a notice of public hearing, rezoning. Legal notice, notice is hereby given that the City of St. Mary's Council will hold a public hearing at 6:15 p.m. on August 11, 2025, in the council chambers at the Municipal Building, 101 West Spring Street, St. Mary's, Ohio. We hear comments regarding the request to rezone 1.532 acres of land in the city of St. Mary's, Ohio. The property is currently zoned R1, single-family residential, and is requested to be zoned R5, multifamily residential. Said area being more particularly described as follows. The area south of Nagle Street and west of Holly Street, tract 4, in the northwest one quarter of section 4, St. Mary's Township, in the city of St. Mary's, Always County, Ohio. Parcel ID K32058-003-01. Consisting of approximately 1.532 acres of land, including street right-of-way. Copies of the request and a drawing showing the area in question are on file at the Engineering Department, 101 West Spring Street, St. Mary's, Ohio. So, on the 11th, we will have a public hearing next month. Any questions or comments from the council? Okay. This being the section of petitions communication, is there anybody from the audience wishing to address council? Mr. Burke.
Yeah, I've been kind of following this Hotel Fort Barbie thing, and I, haven't said anything. I've been kind of letting it play out, and it looks like we're coming to the end of it. And I was going through some of my notes, which I guess I don't want to pick on you, Zach, but you're probably going to be the only one that's going to have the information that, because everybody else goes, well, I don't know nothing about it, So don't feel like I'm picking on you or nothing, but this, if I'm not mistaken, when this started over here, it's been about 20 years ago, right? When they first done that first remodeling thing, right?
25.
Huh?
25.
25? Okay, well, that's close. Now, what was, from what I can figure from my notes, out of the revolving loan fund money, the city was in $750,000 or thereabouts, real close. Plus some grant money that the city helped them get. Now, how much are we likely to recoup out of that? The way it's looking, we're not going to recoup anything. We're going to lose about $500,000 or better. Now, am I close?
I will be addressing that when that ordinance comes up.
Right.
You're not close.
Mr. Noble's here to talk about that ordinance, so I think if it's okay with
Well, the only
if it's
thing
okay
is-
with the president, we could allow you to speak during that time if you had any questions when he's done talking about that ordinance.
I will be allowed to speak when you guys bring this ordinance up, or?
I think it would make more sense to have that after Mr. Noble's presentation about the
I would
ordinance.
agree with that.
You agree with that?
When we come and talk about it, we'll let you address council.
Okay, then I'll hold my peace till we get to that ordinance.
Okay. Is there anyone else wishing to address council at this time? Yes.
Just a little while ago, I had a citizen contact me about, Ryan Lee contact me about electric scooters or e-scooters. He has expressed that he had witnessed a lot of people speeding on Edwards and Augustus intersection, bypassing Divers Place. There's no stop sign out Indiana Avenue, so they heavily travel down there. And he had asked if we could have a extra stop sign, or is there anything that we could do to kind of slow people down through there? He said that he's contacted the police department about people going through the stop sign. There's a lot of children that live down there.
Yeah, give me the location again, Michael.
Yeah, he's at the intersection of Edwards and Augustus. He asked if there was any way there could be maybe a flashing stop sign or an additional stop sign put in. Something to slow down the flow of traffic. He believes they're bypassing the light at Indiana Avenue and Divers Place. And,
Part of the issue is that it's speed bumps, stop signs, flashing lights. They're not recommended for traffic control to slow people down. They're meant to stop them. Part of the issue is with the electric scooters. We've had several conversations within administration about it. We have concerns about them. Right now, I think they're listed as a toy, so a lot of the rules simply don't apply to them. But they're a concern, and it's something that we are looking at right now. So I can talk with Chief Turpin, make sure he's aware of this, and see if they can step up some enforcement efforts. But there's not a whole lot they can do if they're on the scooters doing it, because again, I think currently they're listed as a toy, and so there's not a lot of regulations for them. But we share those concerns. We see it here all the time.
I believe it. I know shortly after I spoke with this gentleman, I was at the intersection of Spring Street and Main Street, and I had a red light and headed south, and had a teenager, about 13 years old approximately, headed west at the intersection there. The light turned green, I was good to go, but I was watching him, and he shot right across in front of me. These scooters, do 25 miles an hour. A lot of them aren't following traffic laws, and this gentleman has expressed concern involving it. It's like a heavily traveled bike route. A lot of kids go to the City Aquatic Center, and so I guess it sounds like it's already in discussion.
It's some, we share those concerns. We see it, we get a lot of calls about it, and right now it's, talking with different department heads and maybe the legislators say, well, what are we gonna do about this? Because the scooters do travel fast. They're registered as toys, they're not registered, but they're considered toys. They drive them like toys, but they're dangerous, and we need to address it. So I don't know, Mr. Farrell, if you've seen anything.
A few years ago, I think some of the companies, the bird scooters and lift scooters that you see in bigger cities, lobbied the state legislature to pass laws allowing these on all Ohio roads. And they don't have the same type of regulations that cars and trucks and other things like that do. So we've had some instances of some tickets that we weren't able to enforce. And so it's a struggle. It's a classic bigger city issue because the bigger cities didn't want them traveling on sidewalks. And I think technically under our on our code, we don't allow for motorized vehicles on sidewalks either. So they allowed for them to travel on the road. But it's been tough dealing with issues with them, and we're looking into that. I know other cities and villages around here have had issues as well.
And, you know, I'm, as a father, I'm happy to see juveniles out and on them enjoying the downtown and stuff instead of being inside and playing video games and stuff. I think that if there's any way that we could have some sort of maybe outreach with some sort of safety, some sort of maybe social media posts from, I don't know, maybe the police department or something, just relaying to the community for parents to ensure that their kids know some traffic rules. Just starting there, maybe, I guess.
Yep, good place to start.
Yeah, Mike, the electric scooters, I'm not kind of, I see bicycles going through stop signs, red lights. About once a week I've had to test my work, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just scooters, it's, and, yeah, we've got laws on bikes and everything. Tell that to a kid, and then, God forbid something does happen, it's too late.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, I think it was last year in Salina that there was a young adult in the early hours of the morning. He happened to be wearing like all black on Avenue Road, and it was a fatality incident. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
But even though they're classified as toys, they're still subject to the same rules as a bicyclist would be,
I don't believe so, no.
right? Not even that.
I don't believe so, no.
Well, that would be something in my area that would have to change.
Yeah, and is that correct, Mr. Farrell?
Yeah, I believe that. I don't believe they have almost no regulations. They're considered low speed. The Ohio Revised Code calls them low speed mobility devices, LSMB, I think, something like that. And they have a whole section of basically these can operate pretty much as long as they're going under like 35. I'll have to look into that. There may be some stop sign issues though. I don't know.
Are e-bikes under the same city hall?
I think so. Low speed mobility device, I believe is the term. But I'll look into it.
Okay. Like usual, it's not something that's going to go over soon, so we'll have to work on it.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, guys.
Before I go on, man, you came in late, we are in petitions communications, are you wanting to address council at this time?
I'm sorry?
Are you wanting to address council at this time? No. Okay. I just want to make sure everyone's covered. Okay, then moving on, we have reports of city officials. First thing we have is the auditor's report. Mr. Reason?
I have no correction or revisions.
Any questions or comments from council? Next, we have the treasurer's report.
I have no revisions.
Any questions or comments from council? Next, we have the Director of Public Service and Safety's report. Mr. Foxhoven?
Mr. Harris, one thing to add as a reminder, it's hard to believe that this Friday is August 1st. It's our last Smart First Friday event, if you can believe that. So that'll be downtown here. The weather's supposed to be really nice. We anticipate a fairly good turnout. Other than that, I'll be glad to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Any questions or comments from council?
One thing on Director of Public Service and Safety, number 13, a lot of people in the community have expressed online about that I don't want to say, I think it'd be good to allow the community to know that Mr. Russell is no longer on the administrative leave.
That's correct.
And this way, people just know that.
Yeah, he is actually no longer an employee.
Exactly, that's what I just
Yes.
wanted to bring that up so that.
Yeah, his resignation was effective yesterday. And so correct, he is no longer an employee, which means he's no longer on paid administrative leave.
But typically, personnel matters, you don't tell the public. Am I right?
That's typically correct, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I was in administration at one time and you just don't relay that information to other people.
The private sector is different than the public sector.
You know, in the public sector, our personnel files are public record.
Okay.
And so anybody can ask to see a copy of my personnel file, and they're entitled to inspect it, and we make copies of it. There's only certain information that can be redacted. So there is a difference
Okay.
in the private sector versus the public sector. So if this were the private sector, there would be no mention of Mr. Wessel's resignation.
Right.
But the public sector, as you'll notice, I list all resignations in my report, terminations, resignations. We have to track them for civil service, and so that's why it's listed. But yes, so just for the record, he is no longer an employee, and he is no longer on paid administrative leave.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to, after hearing all the news and reading all the news that I've read, I think our water department and electric department needs an attaboy for keeping everything running in this heat.
Now, they do. I'll extend that to him.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything new on the Rite Aid building?
I have not heard anything, Dan.
Yeah, okay, just, didn't know if anything was in the works, because the city sure could use another pharmacy, I hear that repeatedly.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, Kroger is overwhelmed, every time I go out there, there's 8 or 10 cars in that drive-through alone, not counting who's standing inside.
Yeah, I agree,
Okay.
but I have not heard a thing.
Wishful thinking, you know, and I thought maybe another retailer would go in there like that.
It's a nice location. My guess is it doesn't sit empty for long.
Yeah, it's ideal. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? Okay, moving on, we have no reports of committees, no readings of ordinance and resolutions. On the third, we have no third readings. On the second, we have ordinance 2025-15, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinance of the city of St. Mary's. Any questions or comments from council? If not, this will be back for its third reading at the next meeting. Next, we have ordinance 2025-16, an ordinance rezoning 1.532 acre parcel of land along Naval Street located in the northwest quarter of section 4, St. Mary's Township, in the city of St. Mary's. Any questions or comments from council? And this is the issue that will be for the public hearing at the next meeting. That's right. Under new legislation, we have resolution 2025-12. May I have a motion to read, please? Mr. Crispin, Mr. Fitzgerald. All vote, please. All yeses. Resolution 2025-12, an emergency resolution authorizing the Community Improvement Corporation as agent to release a certain mortgage held by the City of St. Mary's revolving loan fund. Mr. Noble.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, we're dealing with the building that's right across the street here. And I could go on to the history of this, but I would say I've been involved with this building since day one. Mr. Schwab came to St. Mary's 25 years in the late 90s and proposed renovating the hotel. CIC and the city got involved in that, and we got permission from the state of Ohio to use revolving loan money to help him improve the building, which he did. It's not city money, it came from the federal government, state, so I want to emphasize continually what we're talking about here is not city funds. So Mr. Schwab did that and went on for many years. Sadly, though, as I think we've talked about before, the building fell into disrepair, and Mr. Schwab fell into financial difficulties, and sadly, he passed away last, I think, November. So his widow is appointed the executor of his estate and is standing in for the partnership which owns the building. Mr. Schwab did not own the building individually. We had a partnership that ran it. So as you know, there have been many comments to deal with this building. The city has various interests in it that I can go over, but I want to make 3 points here tonight. I was given the
I guess, the goals from, I think, council and the administration, that our goal was to get the building rehabilitated. In other words, get it out of essentially bankruptcy and get it renovated. There's only a few people living there, and to make it a productive property. In doing that, though, I was also specifically informed that the city did not want to make any further investment in the building. We did not want to own the building, our advance funds in any way to do this. It had to be outside parties. And the other aspect of that was to recover as much as we could from both the revolving loan mortgage and also the other investment we made in the building when a few years ago, over 10 years ago, we renovated the storefronts. And the CIC borrowed money from the city and did that. And now it was originally the school board, now it's Glass Investments, and there's a balance owed on that of about $24,000. So those are the three goals or criteria that we were operating under. So we marketed the building. Oh, I should add that in the meantime, though, as I think I've indicated before, when Mr. Schwab was owning it, there was significant water damage there. And he hired a company called Roto-Rooter to go in, and they spent almost $50,000 in repairing that damage. And they filed a mechanics lien on the property, and really that's what brought this all to a head, is that they then filed a foreclosure action in Auglaize County Common Police Court. So we are in court in this matter, and Zach and I have been representing the city. We asserted our interest in both the revolving loan fund money, plus we have a lien on the property for the CIC advance funds to repair the damage to our storefronts, around $19,000, plus we have the balance owing to the city on our loan of $150,000, it's down around $24,000. So the goal was here to recover for the CIC the funds that we advanced to repair the storefronts and to recover the balance of the money that we spent in doing the storefronts. I can report to you tonight, and we set a price of $350,000 to do this. It seemed to be appropriate based on appraisal and the condition of the building. And we've been marketing it extensively over the last couple of months. The lawsuit has been more or less placed on hold while pending this. I was actually hearing this week because the tenants wanted to appoint a receiver for the property. I think that was a just here. You know, that would have just cost a lot of money. Yes. I heard a funny story about receivers. One attorney is pulling, we take a cow, one receiver is pulling on the horns, the other is pulling on the tail, and the receiver is there milking the cow and getting all the money. So we did not want to have a receiver get involved, and that would just basically left not as much money for anybody. I guess, you know, one alternative we had is just let it go to foreclosure and sold at a sheriff's sale. And in order to get any money back, you would have probably had to be a bidder and ended up owning the property. So we did not want it to go to foreclosure sale. So anyhow, we marketed the property. I gave, through the development department and myself, we've informed all the realtors in the area that it was on the market. We set the price of $350,000, and we had an agreement among the creditors that would be Rotor, and then there's a mortgage ahead of the city mortgage of Huntington Bank that has a balance of $100,000 or so. They had some legal issues, but anyhow, the creditors have agreed to take less, and we have an agreement in order to sell the building. So the CIC executed an option with the Schwab estate. And I want to emphasize too, Schwab is not getting any money out of this. They're essentially bankrupt. They're getting $100. You have to give them something. So they're getting $100. And all that money then will come to be distributed to the lien holders, real estate taxes, the city, and Huntington Bank and Roto-Rooter. They've all agreed on the distribution of those funds based on a sale of $350,000. So I did market this, we showed it, there's one realtor here, had some people look at it. Another realtor brought in an offer of $200,000, which we weren't going to accept. So there have been some local realtors involved. And the CIC did agree to, some of you were in that meeting, to pay a commission of 3%. So we wanted to attract some offers, and we did get a letter of intent and a down payment of $3,500 from a Mr. Eric Ross, who has a CES LLC, a realtor in Lima. Brought him to the table. He's been over here a couple times, and we are preparing now to close with him. And we're looking like he's going to use local financing, we believe. And in order to make this happen, though, the city has to release its mortgage on the revolving loan fund. Again, that's not city money, but there will be some money coming back to the revolving loan fund, approximately $125,000. The city will be paid in full for its remaining mortgage that the CIC had to approve, I think, around $24,000, and the CIC will be paid in full for the money it spent in repairing the storefronts based on the water dam. So we're getting, of the different parties, we're getting at least all of our money for 3 of the 4 liens that we have on the property. So I would like the city council, we're going to need to move under the suspension of passes so that we can move to a closing here in the next couple weeks. All you're doing, you're not approving the sale, I want to make this clear. That's being done by the CIC. The CIC is the one who's going to take title. The city will not own this property at any time here. The CIC has the option with Mr. Schwab, and the CIC will get a deed from Mr. Schwab, the partnership, and immediately transfer it to this buyer. And so the CIC will only own it. It's a bang-bang situation. We're only going to exercise the option once we are assured that the deal is going forward. But in order to put this package together, I need a release of the city's revolving loan fund money here. And we will get then releases from Huntington Bank. We will get releases from Roto-Rooter. We'll pay the taxes, pay the commission, and the revolving loan fund will get approximately $125,000. This is not unusual for these type of revolving loans. I know Salina is different, and we've been very good on our record. I've been involved in the revolving loan fund for over 40 years. I think the only loss we ever had on all of them, which is really a good track record, is $3,000. But I know Salina lost several $100,000 on the Merson plan over there. And so it's a gamble. These are risky ventures, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose here. But we've been given permission from the Department of Development to really give us a free hand in this. I'd also add that the tenants, there is another aspect to this. We've had a lot of moving parts in this whole thing I've been to Columbus twice on a couple of these issues. The tenants, as you know, they've been in here, they had a tenants union, and when Mr. Schwab got this grant, he also got tax credits financing for low-income housing. Now that's a whole separate issue. The city wasn't involved in that. But as a result of that, there are covenants on the building that any buyer has to deal with. They had an initial life of 15 years, and then they have a second extended period of another 15 years. So I've been working with the Ohio Housing Finance Authority, called OFA, and they are going to release the covenants on all but unoccupied units. So that will give a freer hand to the developer. But the remaining tenants, we're using their numbers. Their attorney, I think it might be as many as 7 units. But, so those will still be protected until the covenants run out, which is 3 years from now. So after 3 years, the covenants are entirely gone. But in the meantime, there are some restrictions. It's really, the rent levels are really quite high, actually, and nobody's paying. You could triple the rents that they're getting, still be under the covenant guidelines. So that, I hope, answers questions of Mr. Bird here, but we have nowhere near 700,000. We're getting our money back on the repairs, we're getting our money back on the loan, on the storefronts, and we are not getting all our money back on the revolving loan fund, which was initially $400,000. But there have been payments on that over the years, $5,000 a month or a year. It was a really good, actually, to be quite honest about it, Mr. Schwab always contended it was a grant, not a loan. He didn't want to pay any of it back, and we never fought that battle. I disagreed with him, but and I don't know of any other grants that we were involved in, other than maybe the tax credits, but that's not part of our deal, so to speak. So, be willing to answer any questions.
Mr. Byrd?
Oh, go ahead, John, you go first.
Go ahead, John. I can jump in anytime, man.
Well, it's a question about the 400,000. So it says in here, the state has given us the authority to release the mortgage at the city's discretion. So is that saying that we don't have to pay the balance back?
Correct. No, we're not under any, no,
Okay,
we're not.
so we're done with the loan.
We're gonna be done with it.
Okay,
Yes.
I just.
No, you don't know the state back.
I wanted to be clear.
That money will come back to the revolving loan fund, and we can continue to loan it out to other entities. No, we're
Okay.
not on the hook for that.
That's all I have.
I know you were talking about how some of the other businesses, the other lien holders had also agreed to basically take less than they're entitled to. Can you provide a little bit more information on
I
that?
think Huntington's mortgage, yeah, I have that here.
You want
It's getting 60,000 instead of 100, and Roto-Rooter, they're getting about half of what they were owed.
33,000.
Yeah. So, everybody's taking a haircut. Except, actually, we're not taking a haircut on 2 of our 3.
So what we have $150,000 out for, we're only getting 125. Is that correct?
Pardon?
On the revolving loan fund, do we have $150,000 budget?
No. We're at 400.
We're at 400,000.
Plus interest. So.
Revolving loan is 400,000, we're receiving 125.
Approximately, there's gonna be some play in there. I think, I haven't talked to, the city might take some past utility bills on there too. We can take that, I think, out of
The original loan on the storefronts was 150,000, that's been paid back, we're only owed 24,000, we're getting all of that. And then there was 19,000, which was the money spent to repair some of the storefronts after the water events.
And we got a lien on that against Mr. Schwab, so we're being paid in full for that.
Good. Anybody else?
So, who actually owns the building right now?
The building is owned by Riverview Partnership, which is Mr. Schwab's.
I thought the CIC just bought it for $100.
No, I emphasize that, no, the CIC has an option to buy it for $100. But we're only going to exercise that option when we're sure that we can sell it on the other end. We'll own it for maybe 1 day. No, we do not own the building. I want to emphasize that. I think it was here the last time. CIC does not own it, and the city does not own it, and the city will not own it. So.
What's the appraised value of the building?
There's been appraisals at 400,000, you know, but this is, believe me, I think this is a good price. I mean, you have to, Mr. Gorkel, I mean, any of it, you've gone through the building. One of the biggest problems in the building right now is the elevator. And I know the tenants have been here. The elevator does not work. And frankly, I've talked to the elevator people, and they don't want to talk to you anymore. Some people have called and said, we're not talking about it. That could be a 6-figure repair. Might have to replace it. The elevator company that put it in, the elevator's 25 years old, and that company's gone out of business. And to me, that's a big question mark of the cost of repairing. So any buyer is going to have to deal with it. They're not required to, I mean, there's no requirement that it be fixed, but I'm sure to make it more rentable down the road, and if you wanted to upgrade, especially the 3rd floor, you would want to get the elevator working, but it's the old adage, it takes money to make money. And so I'm seeing Mr. Crispin, he's been involved in real estate. You know, there's a significant amount of work that needs to be done over there. This buyer was up on the roof. He said that's in pretty good shape. The elevator's a major question. A lot of you go up there, doors have been torn off. You know, most of the kitchen equipment in the empty apartments has been destroyed, or there's a lot of junk sitting around. I mean, basically, Schwab walked out of this. You go down, there's an office in the basement. You walk in, this looks like somebody walked out of there 4 months ago and left everything there. The phone, the fax machine, everything. And it's just, and there's cages down the basement. Each unit has its own storage locker, which is, there's some nice features to this building, but most of them are filled with junk. And you know, there's leaks. So the city did go over and repair one leak. The nice thing about the building is that it's sprinkled. I mean, that's, talk about renovating any building downtown or older building, you always worry about sprinkler. It has a sprinkler system, and it is functional. Now, what isn't functional is they've let the monitoring go to the fire department. So that has to, they've let that lapse. It has to be, pay the bill to have the monitoring restored. But it does have a working sprinkler system. Each unit has its own HVAC in the ceiling, and some of those I'm sure need to be repaired at some cost. So there's a lot of work there, several $100,000, and plus whatever the elevator takes.
We have a question from the back, Mr. Harris.
So I just want to confirm that the building has a lot of.
Who are you, ma'am?
I'm Caitlin from the Armory.
Okay.
I do want to confirm what Mr. Noble has said as far as the building has a lot of potential. I actually did a full scope of work for the project, and excluding the elevator as well as excluding any HVAC systems that may need repaired because not all of them are on. There's tenants who are using extension cords to the hallway as of right now. The scope of work is at roughly $360,000, excluding the elevator and any HVACs. That's for upgraded security systems and all of the above. The property has a lot of potential, and it has really good bones, but every unit needs redone. And the people who are there want to stay there, hoping that whoever takes over doesn't displace too many people, because that's not something we like to see. I also did contact the people in Lima who does inspections for sprinkler systems. The last time the building was checked was in 2023, so that's actually not too bad. And it's pretty cheap to have them inspect it. It's around $1,500, which is included in that $356. I'm sure this will look wonderful in the next few years, and I'm hoping that is the case. As far as the asking price, I think it's very appropriate, and if whatever happens doesn't work out, we are also pre-approved for the full amount, so we'd be completely willing to take over.
He has a backup.
Yes, there's a backup offer.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Of course.
Anyone else? John, you good?
So explain to me this mortgage that the city has. Well, that's for $500,000, correct?
So the city issued a mortgage from its revolving loan fund. Again, this is not city money, but it was a grant from the state. It's accrued interest on it of $500,000 actually, but you know, it's not, we're not gonna recover that, people. I mean, there's not enough value there to satisfy that. And so this is, I think, the best deal we can get. If it went to foreclosure, we might get nothing, you know? Or we would have, I don't think, and this is, Mr. Burkholder and the mayor, and I think council has indicated, the city does not want to put another dime in this project. And if it went to foreclosure, in order to protect any interest, we might have to bid and buy the property at a foreclosure sale. That's what we want not to happen here, so.
Basically, this is the best deal we're gonna get. And
I believe it is,
And
yes.
it's time for us to come.
We've offered it, I've had two local realtors have people go through it, and I think the realtor who's renting the unit has looked at it, and he packaged all realtors, so, you know, and we're under a little bit of a time crunch here, because, you know, the court's breathing down our neck a little bit, and so I think this is the best deal that we can get, and makes the city whole on 2 of its 3 obligations, and hopefully it'll be a good building again. That's what we all want. I mean, we've spent $12 million on this bill right across the street. We don't want to pile of junk, guys, people.
Well, if I was sitting in your shoes, I'd think it was a good deal too. Let me see, get this straight. The CIC is getting all their money back that they've got invested in that. Plus, would you say you're getting a 3% cut of the sale?
The realtor is not. The
Well, I
realtor.
understood you to say that the CIC was gonna get a 3% cut too.
No, the CIC authorized a 3% commission to a realtor who brought the buyer to the table.
But
I think some of you were at that meeting, you're members of the CIC. We did that the last time, so that's going to the realtor.
So the CIC is gonna get all their money back, but I'm sorry, city, you're gonna take it in the shorts, boys, for about 500,000. Cause we can't get your money back.
Well, it's not the city, it's the city's revolving loan fund, which is not city money. The CIC, you could argue,
What do you
the
mean
CIC,
it's
wait a
not
minute,
city
John,
money?
just a minute. The CIC and the loan are city money, that we're getting back 100%. What's not getting back is the full amount of the revolving loan fund money, as the other mortgage holder is not
Well,
getting back.
explain to me this revolving loan fund, because to my understanding, that is block grant money that we get from the state
Right?
to loan out to small businesses in the city of St. Mary's as a secondary loan source that want to grow and add on to their businesses. So you're just taking $500,000 of that money, and you might as well start piling up out there on Spring Street and pour some kerosene on it and light it. But I'm sorry, we've done everything we can. I think the city would be, or council would be foolish to relinquish that mortgage. From the way I'm sitting, until we at least get a percentage of that 500,000. Not to mention that when you guys took possession of the storefronts over there, the city forgave Mr. Schwalber and his investors $250,000 that they were in arrears on their payments.
No.
Yes, don't sit there and say no, Craig, because that's exactly what happened. I can go home and get my notes and show it to
The
you.
mortgage that,
But-
wait, would you let me finish here a second? The mortgage that Mr. Schwab had is, this is almost why one could argue it was a grant. It never had in its terms of amortization over the years. There was a minimum yearly payment. That's all he had to do to satisfy the terms of the mortgage. It was $5,000 a year.
In December, every December, 5,000.
5,000. And it was a big pain to get him to make that. He made it. But eventually then, when the city did the storefronts, we used the money from the rents in the sense that we had to give him money for a lease. So the lease that we had for Schwab was $5,000 a year, and then we got $3,000 a month or so from the apartments.
It was
So we
82
paid,
cents a
no, wait a
square
minute, we
foot.
paid, using the lease money, we paid that, I call it a ground lease. None of that money went to Schwab, it went to actually back to the CI, or to the revolving loan fund. It never went to Schwab, we never paid Schwab anything. But what we did do is take $5,000 a year, that's all he owed on that mortgage, and paid it from the rents over there back to the revolving loan fund. So that we've, over the last 10 years, have gotten almost $60,000 back to the revolving loan fund that hasn't even factored into this. So, but Schwab didn't get, the city never gave in. And the revolving fund, we don't have a lot of, actually Mr. Burkholder could talk about this. We have plenty of money to give any business that comes in, low interest loans. It's related to job creation. That's the criteria for a revolving loan fund. And right now, there's over 100,000 in that fund, I think, something like that. I don't know. We're using some of it for demolish the city building. And if we ever would run out of that, you can still get more money from the state or from the county as a revolving loan fund. The state and the county want us to get rid of this fund. We've been under pressure to do that, or they were going to take it back. And remember, we used that to do the mill over here. So there's plenty of money for revolving loans. Actually, when Schwab came in here, we had to get a waiver from the state in order to loan the money on the Fort Barbie, because this really wasn't a job creation project. We had to get a waiver to use it for housing. So the state let us do that back in 98 or when we got this. So there will still be plenty of money in the revolving loan fund to loan money to small businesses, but there's a lot of red tape in those, and they haven't been too popular lately. It's a secondary loan. You have to have a primary lender, and then this is a secondary loan in order to do this. We've gotten very few of those applications over the last few years, but there'll be money there for that if it's needed.
Mr. Noble, what is is Mr. Ross offering us the asking price?
Yeah, $350,000.
And
That's what we told everybody, that was the price, but this is the full price.
And just as John was talking and stuff, if we did not do this, and we went down the foreclosure route, from what I'm calculating here using Caitlin's figure, and that didn't include the elevator, right?
No, not the elevator or any unforeseen costs with the HVAC or furnaces.
Exactly. So if we went down that road and we had to bid on it and we ended up owning it and we were in it for $350,000, we would end up somewhere around like $1.22 million of city money that I don't think anybody wants to see go that way when we have this option that Mr. Noble has taken the time to.
We'll be spending a lot more money.
I think more than that for sure, because that doesn't include the elevator.
Correct. And that could be a six-figure, nobody knows for
Yeah.
certain.
Is it possible to add, so you said that they paid $5,000 a year, and that was due at the end of every December. Is there a way to put it in the agreement that whoever purchases it has to continue paying that $5,000 a year? Since that was all that the city was ever going to get back from it. And once the building is rented out, $5,000 is not super significant. Is there a way to keep that in place?
No,
No? Okay.
I'm using Mr. Will Hayes, one word answer.
I would prefer that we go the route you're recommending and we wash our hands of it. Any other questions?
Yeah, just, I was looking through, doing a little bit of numbers myself here based on what you were saying, who all was owed. And I know we were talking about how obviously we all want to get our money back, but even by my calculations, like, we're, with Citibank, with Roto-Rooter, we're looking at least close to $700,000, which, correct me, didn't you say that the, when they had it, whatever, the value of the property was put somewhere around 400,000, so point blank, there's no way we're going to get 693,000 out of this.
Not without making significant additional investment.
Is the resolution where we're talking about releasing this, because we are talking about getting some of this money back, as you were talking about the 125 approximate. So in this case, where we're basically releasing the 400,000 if we were to pass this, is this basically just kind of a formality? It's not saying we're not going to get any money back, it's just kind of releasing it for the sale purposes?
Yes.
Would that be correct?
We don't know the exact amount because it's taxes,
Yeah.
if we can
It's
get
gonna
some,
fluctuate.
if we can get some of the
I'd
utilities.
like to get a little money for past city utilities too.
So I said up to 400,000 because that's the total amount of the original mortgage. But yes, we believe we're getting around 125,000 of that original 400,000 back. And we have gotten the $5,000 over the last 20 years, 10 years.
And we said no on the question of continuing that.
Because the mortgage will be released, that's, the obligation is under the mortgage, if the mortgage is gone, there's no obligation to pay $5,000 a year.
I got you. That's what I was gonna ask, because you gave the good, simple, one-word answer, but I wanted to understand what was our reason why that, and that makes. I'm gonna have to say, much like John, I don't like the idea of losing that money, but I'm very much so concerned that not going this route, given what it would take for us to get our money back, we're looking at losing significantly even more than what I mean, because if we end up owning this, with all due respect, that's gonna be a massive hit on the city, because number one, we're immediately gonna be responsible for getting this thing in the right livable conditions for the people that are there. And so, I just wanna say personally on the record, I don't like this resolution, I don't like having to do it, but I truly don't see where even those of us that wanna be fiscally conservative have another option on this.
Well, I ran a business for 25 years, and there comes a time every now and then where you look at something and you just gotta say, it's time to cut your losses. And we're there.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? If not, we have a request to suspend the rules. What is council's wishes? Mr. Porter.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to suspend the rules on resolution 2025-12.
Motion to suspend by Mr. Porter. Do I have a second? Mr. Ulenig. Council vote to suspend, please. All yeses. That being the case, may I have a motion to pass? Mr. Crispin, Ms. Childry, council vote to pass, please. All yeses. Thank you. Next, under scheduled miscellaneous business and closing, we have an electric committee meeting request for August 7th.
August 4th, Mr. Harris.
August 4th, I'm sorry. Mr. Buff, how's that look to your schedule?
That was fine.
Okay. And next on my list is, may I have a motion to excuse Mr. Luntz? Mr. Crispin, Mr. Buff, council vote to excuse Mr. Luntz. All yeses.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
this has nothing to do with Fort Barbie, but I was nitpicking historical thing. When you were reading the hearing notice, you said, I think 101 East Spring Street. This is 101 West Spring Street. I think the river is the dividing line.
I think it's correct on there.
We have a new address here.
You do have it. You remember Pat Paulson?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else to come before council? Mr. Buck?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Buck, second by Mr. Chrisman. Council vote to adjourn, please. Oh, yeah, it's the same.